You know, I was going to introduce you to one of our new interns, but I don't know if we have time here. Maybe I'll do that.
You have to wait a whole week. You sure you want to do that?
Well, we're butting up against news time, and there was a whole bunch of things I was supposed to get to today.
Is it a long introduction?
It's funny. I don't know how long it'll take. You know us once we get into it, but we always what we do is.
I don't even know what this is all about. I just heard you wanted to introduce an intern.
Well, it's kind of funny that. All right, well here we go. The company always, let's face it, the company we work for is pretty cheap.
Extremely cheap.
Yeah, I mean, if you saw the studio we work in, I mean, I don't know where it's written that we have to stay in this studio, but.
Everybody who comes to, people have been listening to this show for years, and they imagine being the biggest show that we are in plush studios.
Yeah, well...
The biggest disappointment is coming in here and seeing where we work.
I've spent a lot of time thinking about this. I mean, I don't know what we're going to do in the future, meaning me
you
and you.
Couldn't even tell those Italians.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to be in the future. But it seems to me that if we ever considered staying on in radio... We got to do something about the studio.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I'll just go out and build us a studio.
This is very uncomfortable working conditions.
At the risk of sounding like Jackie, but here I go. You would think that a company that's worth $1 billion could build a studio. But I know what the thing with this company is that whatever radio station they buy, they keep it the way it was. Like I know, they own FAN now, and FAN has some really nice studios.
But FAN, once that equipment gets old...
We'll have to keep it.
That's right.
Right. So, because it's impossible, like I've said to Tom, you really should have a digital workstation. It'd be so easy. We could pass out sounds just on floppy disks instead of all these carts and everything. We could eliminate all that. And he's just like, it costs a lot of money. It is in my budget, but...
The constant conversation in the hall from the engineers is, you get Tom to buy it.
Yeah.
I'm not your problem.
Yeah, I know.
Get Tom to buy it.
I know. It's, and it's like, well, I have enough problem getting Tom to give me the money I think I deserve, so I'm not going to sit there and fight for equipment.
Right.
I want money from me, not for equipment. If it costs $30,000 for a digital workstation, give me $30,000.
If we only got one $30,000.
Yeah, I'll take it. And if you're not going to give it to me, give it to Robin. Don't give it to Jackie, but at least give it to one of us.
Me or Howard.
Yeah, right,
that's it.
Right.
You don't have to worry about anybody else.
Right. So, anyway, of course, one of the ways that we have tremendous amount of work that goes on around the show. In fact, we put on a 5-hour show a day. And as you can imagine, you've seen the staffs for shows that are only a half hour a day or an hour a day in television. And they have huge writing staffs and don't ask. I mean, huge equipment budgets and all that.
Somebody said to me the other day, wouldn't it be great if you just had a computer terminal? Because I was telling them the story about when Christian Slater called in, and I have to just remember what's going on with him. Right. It just has to be in my head.
It'd be great if you had a computer terminal.
I type in Christian Slater, boom, I got the whole profile.
It's called a LexisNexis service, that you would have a computer terminal in front of you. Christian Slater calls in, and while I'm busy, getting him on the phone, you hit a button, you hit Christian Slater, up on your screen comes 30 things about Christian Slater, and you say, hey, isn't it true you did this?
Right,
isn't it true? Right. That would be the ultimate.
Right up to date.
Yeah, and by the way, they have that. Like, I was talking to someone who was over at WOR. They have all that stuff.
Sure.
So...
You know what he did yesterday.
And FAN even has computer terminals. What did he do yesterday? He bought a cake that was about 7 sizes too small? What? What? But I understand...
We are fiscally responsible. We are not...
Right. I understand that. But you understand that...
We're fiscally responsible for letting everything fall apart.
Well, Tom's attitude is, well, listen, you've come this far with no equipment, so why add equipment? I mean, this is fine for us.
Equipment would only...
Yeah, right.
Equipment would only hold us back.
Right. Maybe it would. Who knows? Maybe he's onto something. I don't know. Maybe he knows more than I give him credit for.
You still knew what Christian Slater did. You didn't need that terminal.
And whatever you didn't know probably wasn't that important.
I think most comic geniuses need some kind of misery. This is yours.
This is definitely my hell. I'm in it. But anyway, thank you, Tom. Thank you for that, adding so much to the material. So, and one of the other things is, we don't really, like, if we had a couple of office people, the office would run a lot smoother, but I'm not going to be the guy who goes back and tells Tom that we need office people to just even to catalog stuff. So, we get interns, college interns, and they come here and...
You're not going to say that to the guy who said, can't we reuse some of the audio tapes of the show?
I mean, Tom...
Just record over them.
Tom was a guy who came to me and said, I don't understand why, when you record the shows, why don't we just take the old shows, like the shows from 8 or 9 years ago, and record over the tape? I said, because, Tom, who knows what we're going to do with those? We're going to have best of, maybe I don't know what we'll do, but once you tape over a 60-cent cassette, the material is gone. Maybe a great guest is on there.
You never know who people are going to become later on.
Right.
You want to save all that.
Tom goes, oh, but we're spending so much money on cassettes. And I was just like, oh my God. He has no idea of the value of the show. Zero idea.
He has no idea what's going on here.
Meanwhile, when we're on vacation for 6 weeks out of the year, they put together a best of that makes a lot of money for the station.
Sure. But it wouldn't be there if Tom had his way.
Oh, we never would have had one.
We have one cassette. We just keep flipping it over.
Right, over and over again. It's only groundbreaking tapes of the world's best radio show, and he's to raise them all. Because he's very expensive tape.
They've
60
heard this
cents.
before.
How many pens does Jackie need?
I understood it costs us $9 a week in tape.
Meanwhile, there's fans of the show that have
every tape of the show. Right. Anyway. One of the things we do is we bring in interns from colleges. And
That's how we get any work done at all.
And it's very hard to get people to work for free. And they always have wacky stories. But Gary was back there. And what happens is you get an intern to work for free, and they think it's exciting because they think they're going to be on the radio all the time, and it's going to be really cool hanging out with us.
Yeah.
And then they get here, and they're just doing office work, and they flip their lids.
Really?
Well, they all do.
I'm not around.
Most of them do.
Yeah.
The ones that want to stay on are usually kooks. Anybody with anything happening wants to move on.
Mm-hmm.
So Gary has to break in new interns every other week. Kathy used to have to break them in, but I told Gary now he's responsible for that.
So that's switched back to Gary now?
Yeah.
Flop-up-lolly.
So he has to break in the new interns. So the other day, he's sitting there with the interns, and one intern comes up to him and says, hey, Gary. Hey, Gary, come in here. Who's the one who talked to you about, said you didn't look so much like a monkey?
Oh, that's Bruce.
Where's he? Is he here?
No, Bruce comes in on Fridays. Bruce said to me, he came in, it was like his second day here, and he goes, hey, you know what? I go to school in Boston, and there's a guy who's got some of your last name. He's got like half of my last name. And he goes, you know what? He goes, I know you're not related to him. And I said, no, I don't have any relatives in Boston. And he goes, yeah. He goes, you guys could look like brothers. He goes, but he looks a lot more like a monkey than you do. But it wasn't like, he didn't wait for the punchline. It was just like a matter of fact.
Yeah, right. I mean, can you imagine? Like that's, so, it's, you're not dealing with guys who are all there.
High level.
Guys, yeah, people who are worried about your feelings. Yeah. Isn't that great?
But there was no joke. You know what I mean?
Right,
it wasn't
was just matter of fact.
Right.
It makes it so much worse.
Yeah. So,
because he doesn't even know that's an insult.
And then we got another one who, isn't he in Gamblers Anonymous?
No.
What?
He has a gambling problem.
Right. Where is he?
Guys, get our intern.
You got to meet this guy.
He has a gambling problem. I know what I heard about him, which I spoke to him about, was the reason he's interning for us this semester is because last semester he took the money his parents gave him for school and he lost it.
Oh,
but he said he went to one meeting and he had the greatest line. He went to Gamblers Anonymous and I said, how did it go? And he said, I went to one meeting. He goes, those guys are a bunch of losers.
Hey, sit down. And what's your first name?
Danny.
This is Danny? Yeah. See, I never know anybody's name until they do something interesting.
Yeah.
Now I'll know Danny forever. But Danny, what's your story? So you're going to college and you gambling got so bad, because you can't be more than what, 19?
No, I'm 24.
You're 24?
Yeah.
And
what school were you
at? What school were you at?
SUNY Albany.
Oh, you were at Albany?
Yeah.
And your parents gave you money to...
No, they didn't give me the money. It was my money.
Oh, it was your money?
Yeah.
How'd you get money?
I'd saved it for a while.
You saved money or you gambled?
Well, I gambled too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And what age were you when you started gambling?
Oh, about 22.
You were 22 years?
Actually, about 21.
And how did you get turned on to gambling?
Actually, my friend, I'm into sports. I'm not like a big sports guy, but my friend was like, oh, you can make a lot of money gambling. It's no problem. You go in there, you make a lot of money easy. And I was like, oh, you guys are idiots. You're losing all your money.
Right.
And so one day he just like told me, I bet on the game and I won.
Right. Uh-oh.
That's all it took.
And how much did you bet? Like just a little bit of money?
$25.
$25, okay.
And how much did you win?
$25.
$25.
Oh.
So I bet the $25, and then the next week I was like, oh, this is easy. So I bet 50, I won 50, and I won for like 6 weeks in a row. And I was like, man, we're like having the best time.
Yeah, I got the touch.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
We're sitting there like, I was like, yo, I can make a career out of this. I don't even have to work or anything. I didn't work for like 6 weeks. I was just like, oh my god, I'm making $400 a week. That's like simple.
Yeah.
And everybody was like looking at me for the picks.
Right.
But eventually I ended up winning like $1,600 a week sometimes.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. And then what happened, though? You started to lose, right?
Then I became a mush. Then, you know, you ever see, like, what was it, the Bronx Tale?
Yeah.
The guy's the mush. I just couldn't win.
You couldn't win. The luck ran out.
Yeah.
You're the mush. So at this point, you were in college, and your gambling habit was getting so bad that...
What were you betting on? Anything?
I was betting on everything.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he would bet whether or not you would laugh at whatever he just said.
Everything except for, like, horse racing. I mean...
Right, no one gets
actually,
into that.
we went to the track one time, and I was betting on every race. And not only did my horses lose, but every single race, my horse came in last place.
So how much money were you losing at this point? I mean, you were losing a lot of money.
Actually, I was losing like $250 a week. You know, I bet really big on Mondays.
Right.
And then, you know, I'd win sometimes, and then you just use that.
And what happened? You ran out of college money?
No, well, actually, I had a bad experience. I was like, I lost a lot of money early in the week, and I was betting baseball at this point. And I was down in New Orleans, and what happened was I lost early. And in baseball, it's different than any other sports because you bet odds.
Right.
So if you bet on a really good team and they win, then you just win what you bet. But if you bet on a good team and they lose, you lose like 2-1.
Right.
So I lost like $200 in the beginning of the week, and I bet $200. But then if they lose, you lose $400.
Right.
So now I'm down $600. So you bet $600, you don't lose $600, you lose $1,800.
See, it's starting to escalate now. Yeah.
Yeah, they know how to get you. Boy.
So the baseball strike saved you a lot of money.
Yeah.
So
saved his life.
So you were down, and that was supposed to be your college tuition?
Yeah, well, I was down $1,700, and I had to finish off paying the rest of my tuition.
Right.
And my parents were like, okay, you know, take the money out and go pay the rest of your tuition. So I knew I didn't have it all.
Right.
So I was down in New Orleans just like having a good time, and you know it got really pathetic to the point where we're like calling up on a payphone from the middle of the street in New Orleans to make a bet up here.
Yeah, right.
And,
they couldn't even walk a block.
So your parents gave you the money to pay for college, and you took the money and you paid off your bookie?
Yeah, well, not even, what happened was I bet the $1,800 on one game.
Oh.
And I lost like $3,700 because I lost.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I didn't have the full tuition anyway, so I wasn't going to be able to pay it. So I just figured, you know, I might as well, you know, bet it all and have nothing to lose.
So when you lost all the money, then your parents figured out that you had a gambling problem?
Well, they knew I'd been gambling, but they didn't know it was like getting out of hand like that.
Like the point that you couldn't go to college anymore.
$3,700 he lost?
Yeah. So what?
I ended up being like $5,100 for the week.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
$5,100 for the week.
But, you know, all these stories are the same. You notice he started with... It's not so innocent.
$25.
$25.
Yeah, no, it's no big deal. And $25 when you're in college is a lot of money.
You know what it is? It's, you know, you bet more and more because, like, you go down to Atlantic City and you see this old guy next to you, and he's got like $1,000 chips and stuff, and you're like, wow, I want to be a high roller like this guy.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the guy starts out with like 20 of them, and you look.
Meanwhile, I never thought like that in college.
Never.
I didn't have any money.
Everybody bets in college, man.
Really?
Everybody. I got all my roommates on. My roommate lost.
My father gave me $100 for the month.
I never even knew anybody in college.
Yeah, you didn't even have a phone to make a call.
No, it wasn't in my realm of possibilities.
I knew guys when I went to college who had bookies, and I thought it was an odd thing because I thought bookies were like you go down to Little Italy and you're an old guy and you call a bookie.
So anyway, now you're in the hole for like $5,700 at this point, and how much is college going to cost?
It was like $5,100 for the rest of the semester.
So what'd you do? You went to your parents and said, "Look, I'm really screwed."
I hid from them. I went back to school. I just told them I paid it. I went back to school and hid in my house for like 3 months.
And then when the school started coming after you for money, what'd you do?
The bills came to my house.
That's how they found out?
Well, no, actually, one of my roommates told my brother by accident. He thought he knew. And so
this is what happened. Your parents hauled you into a family meeting?
Well, they told me that if I wanted to stay at home, I had to go to like Gamblers Anonymous.
And then you refused to go because they were losers?
No, I was like, I don't have a problem. But then I started thinking, maybe I do have a problem. You know?
Right.
So I go to this meeting.
I love him.
Yeah.
He's gambling everything away, and he doesn't know he has a problem.
He's our new friend.
It's so
right. Guy in complete denial.
So you go to this meeting. Actually, you call on the phone. And I'm like, I don't have a problem. And the guy was just like, okay, well, how much of your salary do you lose? I'm like, oh, all of it. So I
have no money. I can't even go to school.
You better get in here quick. We'll send an ambulance for you.
I go into this meeting, and
he was like, I don't have a problem. I like betting.
It was like a bunch of old guys. Like a bunch of old guys.
I don't have any more money.
And the guy behind me had lost like hundreds of thousands of dollars. He ruined his marriage and his business and everything.
Right.
And I lost my tuition. And some little geek came up, and he was like 16 years old. He was like, yeah, I lost like $100. I'm like, oh, God.
Yeah, right. What are you doing?
And they yelled at us.
Really?
They're like you have no right. You have no right to go off on this guy. If you would have been like him, smart like him, and came in here when you had a problem, you wouldn't be down in the hole. And we're like, oh.
Meanwhile, the 16-year-old kid's all embarrassed. He hasn't lost enough.
Right.
So you told your parents that all the guys in Gamblers Anonymous were losers?
No, well, I just they didn't know I stopped going. So
so you just
went once, and I was like, forget it.
Yeah, right.
So they still think you're going to Gamblers Anonymous.
So have you bet since you went to Gamblers Anonymous?
Well, I don't bet as much, but I went back to the.
Did you bet on the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
What'd What'd you do on that?
Like 500.
You had San Diego?
Yeah.
Oh, welcome.
I figured they could cover 19.5 points, and if that guy would have caught that touchdown pass,
right? He's still living it. Yeah.
He's in it.
If I were you, I'd start drinking. You're on your road.
To ease your way.
What?
My roommates in school never gambled, and they all called me a fool, and my other friend and I gambled together, but they were always like, oh, you're a fool. And I got them started gambling, and my other roommate, I just found out, lost $17,000. I had to drop out of school, and it's still paying it off at this
Really?
point. Yeah.
Wow.
And you don't feel bad.
No. Hey.
I look at him
he's an idiot.
He's an idiot.
Yeah.
There's some guy on the phone that says that Dan was responsible for his roommate losing a lot of money, but you can't be responsible for anybody.
I mean, hey,
But he said Dan's days at schools were spent going down to the deli, getting the paper, and reading about all the sports and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, I have to just roll out of bed, play Seg all day, go down and get the paper, study the spread like I'm supposed to be studying your schoolwork, and still lose.
Right. So I think he did have a problem, and you might still have it.
At 24, what's he still doing in college?
I don't know. He's gambling.
Yeah, gambling.
There's no time for school.
You know what it is when you
what are you doing in college?
You transfer and you lose all your credits and everything.
Oh,
I had to
right.
home because I couldn't stay there anymore. And if I wanted to go back there, all my roommates had graduated.
And Albany's a good school.
Yeah.
So what school are you in now?
At St. Thomas Aquinas.
Oh, Jesus.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, you ruined your life.
Yeah, it kind of sucks. Don't.
What kind of major are you pursuing?
Gambling. The history of gambling.
French 101.
Yeah. So your parents probably don't even gamble, and they're probably completely freaked out by this.
Not at all. Actually, my dad bet on the Super Bowl, and I wasn't going to bet on the Super Bowl, but he was like, "Okay, put 50 on it for me." And
50's reasonable.
Yeah. So I was
He's helping him.
So I was like, "Okay, I'll bet 50." And I ended up putting like 500. And
want to bet? I'll bet that you don't graduate till you're 30. How much you got? What?
I want to know, so do you work? Do you have a job after you leave here where you make money?
Yeah.
And what do you do with it?
Probably gamble it away. No, actually, I've gambled since the Super Bowl.
Oh, really?
Since the Super Bowl.
Oh, there you got it.
I know what it is. I'm busy now, so when you're busy and you don't have time to really look through the paper, if I get a spread in front of me and it's 6 o'clock, I'll call and I'll bet.
You get nuts.
But you don't have a problem.
Do you still think you don't have a problem? You have a problem, right? You do. Yeah. I have a problem.
Yeah.
Hey, we all have problems.
In New York. Every booking in New York is on the phone.
Yeah. Hey, Booney, I could tell you everyone's problem in this room. You're not the only one without a problem. But you're definitely on the road to ruin.
No, but
I mean, you're ruined already. You dropped out of Albany to go to St. Thomas Aquinas.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It is horrible.
Dude, you got to pull that together. Maybe you ought to go to that gambler. Hey, Billy, where were you? AA?
Yeah, I went to AA.
Yeah, so did you think they were losers?
No, I didn't.
Well, you were really rock bottom.
Yeah, it took me a long time to get in there, but once I got out, I was on the good road. But I don't shake on Wednesdays when I see the lotto ticket receipt.
Yeah, right.
But Billy was telling me, we all know that he went there.
Yeah.
But then every once in a while you hang with Billy, and Billy will tell you some really bizarre stories that you just can't believe because he seems so docile now.
Yeah, I don't know. I still think Billy's imagining some of it because he wants, because he's short and stuff and weird, and he wants to make everyone think he had a cool life.
He told me once he took a swipe at an intern.
I don't know about that.
He's
I don't know.
glamorizing his former.
Yeah, I know Billy. I don't see it.
Why would I do that? It requires rigorous honesty to stay sober.
It's like Eric Clapton. He tells everyone he's a heroin addict. Now they're saying they're not even sure he ever did heroin.
Yeah.
It's just like makes him cool. There might be a little of that going on with you.
No, it's not.
Yeah? Let me see you take a drink.
Just collect empties and put them around his house.
So you're our new intern, huh? That's cool. Yeah, I didn't know you had all that brewing inside of you.
Don't send him out for your lunch if you give me any money.
It's so funny because all the other interns are like, okay, Dan, you're going for lunch, but don't go. They have my Mac card and they take their Mac cards out of their wallets and stuff.
Right,
and they're let me go.
Yeah, we don't trust you.
Yeah.
So have you paid off all the $5,300 and stuff?
I paid it all right away. I paid it that was my tuition, so I had to pay. I paid my bookie before I paid my rent. Yeah,
right. Oh yeah, you don't get your hands broken.
Did you ever have any? I'm curious. Did anyone ever were you ever late and did anyone ever come and visit you?
No, never. I've never.
What do you? I mean, do you know what would have happened? What would have happened?
Well, first of all, if it's a lot of money, it depends. Like if it's reasonable, the guy will make a payment plan. Like the guy who lost $17,000, he was paying off like $400 a week.
Right.
So you got to monthly pay your bookie.
Drop out of school and get a job.
Oh, it was funny. This kid that was betting through us, he was winning a lot of money, and he was only like 17 years old, and he was like a diplomat's son from the UN.
Right.
And this kid, he was winning, and we were like laughing at his picks, but the kid was winning like thousands of dollars, and he was betting, and just all of a sudden, he lost like $12,000 in one day. Oh. We had to go out to to his house in Long Island, and it found out his father was like a security guard in the UN, and he didn't have any money. This kid was going to Cooper Union, so he wasn't paying for school. And this father had to go out and take a second mortgage on his house. And we're driving around in Long Island with like $13,000 in my hand in like $100 bills. It was like
you know anybody who ever got beat up?
I know a guy he was like got his leg broken.
Really?
And you don't think this is a weird thing to be in?
Dude, you ought to swear it off. I'm telling you. Trust me.
I'm trying, It's hard because I'm like really into sports and I love watching the games.
It's not fun when you just watch a regular game. You can have some money riding on it.
Like, who the hell wanted,
I like the Super Bowl a whole lot. I couldn't move from the set. I had so much money going down.
Well, for me, it was Ralph's bet. That's what kept me there.
That's funny.
How do they break your legs anyway? What do they do? Do they just break it with like a hammer or something?
No, they just like throw you out of a car. Or
something. Oh, do they? Throw you out of a car.
Nice people you're dealing
with. So,
with.
in other words, it's pot luck what happens to you once you leave the car.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, if you break a leg, you break your head, it don't make a difference.
Well, that's only for, like, extreme idiots who
right.
don't come up with any money and, like, don't make
And you could never get into that condition.
No.
Nah. Well, actually,
And what do you got to do? You get the payment plan, you got to pay a little interest, too, right?
No, it's just, well,
nice
actually, it might be.
Bookies with a heart.
I never got that far into it.
Yeah, right. Before you know it, like, your kids are sold into slavery.
Yeah.
You know, you got to give your daughter into
You're working for him the rest of your life. Now he'll be going out breaking legs.
Yeah, right.
That's how he'll pay off his debt.
Yeah, you're a pretty tough-looking guy, actually. So, like, do you purposely avoid watching certain games on TV and stuff?
No, not really, though.
Really?
No.
So what happens when you watch them, all of a sudden, like, your hand creeps over to the phone and you go, hey, I got to place a bet?
Well, right before a big game, like this weekend, I guess Syracuse was playing Connecticut, and the game just comes on. And, and I'm sitting around, I have nothing to do, I'm really bored, and I'm a big Syracuse fan, but I'm like, that crowd looks really good, maybe they'll be all pumped up, and I'm thinking, what's the spread? I look at the spread.
And it's over.
Yeah, but I didn't make the bet this weekend. I was kind of like hesitant. I was like,
well, what goes through your mind? Do you say yes, no, yes, no?
No, what you do? I pick up the phone.
Oh, Jesus, if I lose.
I pick up the phone, and then I get the spread, and I say to myself, okay, if it's over a certain amount, I won't bet it.
Right.
And then I didn't bet it the other day.
There you go.
You're still in there.
You know what I do? I'd remove the phone from the house.
Yeah.
You actually made the call to the bookie to see what the spread was. You got that far.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
And I would have lost, too, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're glad you didn't bet. Because when he bets, he doesn't have the money to bet.
Yeah, but do you like losing?
No, it's not the losing. The losing is okay, but it's like while you're losing and you know you're going to lose. Because it just tears your guts out,
It's a high you can't get anywhere else.
He's in love.
But the bet doesn't really count unless it's really going to hurt you, right? In other words, if you got $20 in your pocket, you know you can afford it. That's not a good bet, right?
Right.
Because you got to know that it's going to take it out of your.
It's like you got to.
Somebody explain it.
You got to drop. You got to drop out. It's got to be a real bet. Like you got to drop out of school and start.
Right. You got to have something at stake.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
When I first started betting, it was like, you call it a 5-time bet. It's a $25 bet.
Right.
And now, I was just like, oh, yeah, that's a lot of money. And when I started betting big, I was like, oh, it's just a 5-timer. Whatever. It's like real casual.
Right.
And then when we bet it was $3,700 on one game.
Right.
And actually, my friend had $700.
And you didn't even have the money.
No, I had the money.
He had the money because his parents gave it to him.
Yeah, but that was the tuition money. You really didn't have the money.
No,
You just saw the money and said, what the hell?
I was like, oh, I got it.
And when you're riding on 3,700, you must be, like, out of your mind.
We were down in New Orleans. We had to find a sports bar because we bet on a Philly game against, like, the Padres. And the Phillies were, like, 70-20, and the Padres were 20-70. And the Phillies had lost, like, 4 games in a row. We're like, they're never going to lose to these guys again.
Yeah.
And it was a rain delay. The game went on for like 6 hours, and we're just sitting in this bar watching it. And it was 2-2 in the 9th inning, and we lost. And we're sitting there like our whole vacation was like ruined.
And you were happy.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
We're sitting, it was just torture. It was like the longest 6 hours.
But you like that. You like that feeling.
But
you like when you're winning.
You like when you win.
But it's funny because when you're winning, when your team's winning, you never are secure. When you're losing, you're like, oh, I know I lost. You know immediately your team would be down like by 30 points or something.
But he loves those highs and lows.
Yeah.
I have a question I've always wanted to ask a compulsive gambler. When you make the bet, right? Yeah. Do you sit there and then start dreaming of what you're going to do? Like, you think you're going to win. Do you start dreaming of your winnings? You go, I'm going to buy a boat.
Yeah, you sit
going to
there.
go on vacation.
You're like, okay, I can go out to dinner here. I can go and do this. I can go buy.
You're spending the money.
Yeah, you're like, okay, I have this bill. I have this bill. I have this bill. And you're like, okay, if I win this, I can pay off this, and I can still get some clothes. And
Did you ever do that? No.
Yeah, well, I was winning in the beginning. In the beginning, I was paying off everything. I was
you were a big man. Yeah, big man right there.
My money around people like, oh, you're not even working. I'm like, no problem.
The best thing in the world would have been if he lost his first $25 bet. It would have been all over.
Yeah, because I would have been like, oh, this sucks.
Yeah, this sucks. Who wants to do this?
Exactly.
That's how they hook you.
Yeah, it's so funny because the guy who runs OTB now, wasn't he a big gambler? And every gambler loves him because he was a winner.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, and they all look at him. They think they're going to be him.
Yeah, I don't know much about that situation.
Yeah.
You wouldn't believe how rampant gambling is. You go to a Giant or a Jet game, and you sit in the stands, and you got guys with cell phones all around us, and they're all like, what's the score of that game? What's the score of this game?
Yeah, and they're not even concentrating on the game.
They don't watch the game.
Yeah, right.
All they want to know who won and who lost.
Well, the funny thing is the NFL, frowns upon gambling, and they deny that there's gambling, but every single newspaper, even the smallest local newspaper, prints point spreads.
Right.
And the NFL puts out point spreads.
Point spread makes it all fun.
You know what happened? Well, up at school, the local paper took the point spread out, and we got a petition going, and we're like, get that point spread back in the paper.
They took it out of the school paper.
Well, yeah, it was like a local little crappy paper.
You finally got involved in school.
Yeah,
it was an issue close to your heart. He was rioting in the middle of basketball games with his friends.
School books with the
Yeah, right.
We're sitting there, we're like,
did you have any time for studying or anything? Very little.
Don't you envision one of those report cards?
Our intern pool is getting weirder and weirder.
Gay Rich, Stuttering Vic.
I'm pining away for the days of Stuttering Vic.
In the last group, we had a guy who had gotten out of jail.
Yeah.
We had Stuttering Vic, and now we got this gambler.
Yeah, Danny the gambler. Gambling Danny.
OJ.
Suddenly Grillo's a real find.
It's getting real shaky.
Yeah. I never did no gambling.
Ex-cons and gamblers.
You give me the money, I go get lunch.
It's funny because he's always telling me, you're so stupid. What are you doing? What do you think?
You got a problem.
I'm like, dude, shut up.
Dude, I'm trying to relax. I'm trying to play I'm doing the point spread.
Meanwhile, John's in there saying, "Oh, you're so dumb." Meanwhile, he's playing with the stock market, And
yeah, right.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, well, we should have Danny. Do some picks and stuff.
Maybe we should have a meeting right here.
You know what's funny?
Yeah.
If I don't gamble on the game, I'll win.
Is that right?
As soon as I pick the game, it's almost like I got to the point where I felt like I was calling my bookie, and as soon as I called, the guy would get off the phone okay, he made his pick. You guys all go the other way.
You get a little nuts with it, huh?
Maybe
why don't you stop since you know you can't pick a winner?
Well, I tried. I'm trying right now.
He said he's trying to stop.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that easy.
If you don't show him the point spread, he'll do it.
If he gets any money in his hand, it's gone.
Keep going.
It's hard to stop, though. It's almost like, alcoholic. Everybody says, it's not a disease.
All right, let's say I have, let's start out conservative. Let's say I got $100 right now on me.
Yeah.
Okay? Today, I've got $100.
Okay.
I want to bet a game. What's the game that you would bet?
Well, I have to look at the paper. I don't know who's playing tonight.
No, this could be dangerous. All right, go ahead. Give him a paper.
Why are you doing this?
Well, I just want to see. I might place the bet.
You and his father, enablers.
I just want to know because I just want to see what's good out there. Our audience will be interested. They might want to bet.
You know what? Whatever he tells you, bet the other way.
Yeah. Oh, we're about to get another dopey revelation.
When I was gambling every day, every day, I knew stats about the stupidest things.
Right.
I knew every single thing about every team that nobody would even think of.
Tonight alone, you can bet on 7 NBA games. It looks like around 25 college.
Give Danny the paper. He's the pro here.
Or 10 NHL games.
All right, give me something good to bet on. You call your bookie for me. I'm gonna put 100 on.
Okay.
I want to get into it.
His
new show feature, Howard. Danny's pick.
Danny's pick. Get some music. What do you come in? You come in every what?
Wednesday morning.
Every Wednesday?
Well, I come in Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But
all right, every Wednesday morning. All right, every Wednesday we'll have Danny's pick. Danny, the man with the gambling problem. Because these guys seem to know as long as they don't bet. Well, I'll put 100 down on what you got.
I'll take the Pacers over the Pistons.
Let me see, Pacers.
Where are they playing?
They're playing at Indiana. They lost last night to Orlando. So
any kind of spread?
On the paper, it's 9.
Who lost last night?
Indiana Pacers lost to Orlando last night.
Yeah, but the Pistons beat the Knicks last night.
That's why I figured they're going to be all, they'll have a letdown tonight.
Oh, he's got a psychologist.
Yeah, they'll have a letdown tonight. So they'd have.
So you're saying it's a good bet if I take the Pacers with 9 points?
Get minus 9 points. They're giving 9 points.
Oh, I see. You think they can beat the spread?
Yeah, they should beat them by 10. They're going to be a little bit angry.
Oh, he's going to.
And they're at home. Home teams in the NBA generally win most of their games.
Yeah, but by 9 points.
Yeah, well, that's a chance.
Gary's nodding his head. He likes it.
No,
likes the bet.
I mean, going with the home team in the NBA is usually generally a good rule, but it's general.
You're going to doubt our expert?
Spread is not 9.
Yeah, but Robin, keep your money on you. I'm giving him 100. Now, if I give you 100, you can place a bet for me?
Yeah.
Oh, you.
You better win for me.
Are you serious?
See, you know what? He's going to have to bet some of his own money,
No. If you're going to bet your own money, I'm not going to let it. I'll go 50-50 with you on it. All right?
That's betting money on him.
If you lose this, you lose 110 because of the VIG.
Oh, the VIG?
What's the VIG?
What's the VIG?
The guy who makes the bet for you.
Yeah, well, what it is if you win, I'm trying to think of the way they explain this.
Vigorous.
If you bet $50, you lose 10%, of whatever you lose. So if you lost a $50 bet, you lose $55. If you lose 100, you lose 110. You know.
All right. Anybody else going in on this?
No.
Why, you don't trust this guy?
I'll bet.
I'm going on.
You guys are horrible.
20, 40, 60.
You don't have to pay me up
a 6-pack?
80.
When he's laying in the gutter.
You wouldn't have to. You don't have to pay this now anyway. You can pay it next week. That's when you.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, you have till. Actually, if you lose tonight.
Oh, then that's no problem.
No, it is.
That's how they get you up there.
There you go.
If you lose the game tonight, you can double tomorrow and try to get your money back.
Okay. Yeah, that's no big deal. And they give you that option?
And until Sunday, your cutoff day is Sunday, so you can't bet until Sunday.
No problem.
And then Monday, you find out how much you're up.
All right, go ahead.
I never thought of this before.
Yeah, but you're not going to bet, are you?
No. Billy, don't you do it.
I never thought of this before.
Billy, you're going to replace one addiction with another? Who's betting? Because he'll place the bet for us.
I'm going to go 100. As long as if he bets,
I won't bet it.
bet is off.
Yeah, if you bet, we're not doing it if you bet. I'm hoping this will cure you of your problem. You see us lose our money.
I'll bet you're going to ruin his life.
That's what I bet.
He likes this.
You want to talk to Danny's old roommate? He doesn't blame Dan for anything.
Yeah.
Danny's old roommate lost $25,000. He's now working 6 days a week to pay it off.
Is this Raj? This got to be Raj.
Hey, Raj.
Hey.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How you doing, Howard?
So you used to live with Danny?
Yeah.
And you got caught up in the gambling thing too?
Yeah.
What is it, catching?
Well, wait a second. Don't bring names into the story. I just want to hear your story.
Tell me the story.
Yeah, just tell the story. So what happened? You were living with Danny, and Danny got into the whole gambling thing.
Right. He got us into the baseball thing. Now, the problem with baseball is you lose. If you bet on the favorite, you lose like 4 times or 5 times what you bet.
Right.
Okay? So, but if the favorite wins, you only win what you bet.
Right.
You know what the problem was? You were betting. That was the problem.
Yeah.
Why don't you guys just get drunk and throw up on girls like regular college guys?
They do that too.
Oh yeah. So you're the guy who went through $17,000 and he had to quit college?
What was that? Yes, sir.
So you were down $17,000. You had to quit college, and you made a deal with the bookie that you'd get a job and pay him $400 a week.
No, I had a job. Danny exaggerated the story. It's nothing like that. But I mean, it was
only $17,000.
It was a payment plan, basically, and I busted my ass for a year.
A payment plan.
And wasn't it fun paying for nothing?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't actually. You learn a lot.
So where are you at now? How much have you paid off?
Basically everything except about $800.
Oh.
So you back to gambling?
So he lost a bunch of money on the Super Bowl or something.
Oh, he bet. You mean? Wait a second. Hold on. Let me get straight. You bet the Super Bowl after that?
What's that? I only put $50 on the Super Bowl.
Oh, all right.
I thought someone told me you lost more than that, though.
Yeah, but that's all he's admitting to.
It's a different
No, seriously. I had a few guys I work with who put in more.
Can you imagine being this young and already having to pay off $17,000?
Having been that far down in debt.
It makes you learn a lot.
Yeah, you learned a lot. You bet on the Super Bowl.
Hey, you're stupid. You were in college. You should have been learning there.
Hey, I did learn a lot. I framed your poster, and it's going to be worth money.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
He's going to have to sell it to pay off the bet.
He's going to have to give it to his bookie.
Yeah.
All right, dude. Thanks.
Thanks a lot, buddy.
All right, man. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, these kids.
Let's rock.
I got you betting, Billy?
I don't know.
What?
Billy will get hooked.
See, everyone's afraid they're going to get hooked.
Dominic wants to take the bet.
You want in, Dominic?
First of all, the kid's absolutely normal. What's wrong with him? He's invited to the card game.
Yes.
For sure.
Oh, God, you could please him.
And I'll take the other side of the bet. You need a bookmaker.
You'll take the bets?
Yeah, I'll
oh, good. Okay, that we don't have to call a bookie.
He's going to be the bookie, huh?
Yeah,
all right, okay. What about the VIG?
I got to get the VIG.
Okay, you get the VIG. Okay. All right, okay. Dominic, I'm putting 100 down on the Pacers.
Indiana.
I'm not taking the points.
You
want a straight win.
Right, I'm giving you 9 points. When's the game, tonight?
Yeah.
Oh, super. I got to watch that game. What time is it on?
Oh, no.
Can you check the paper for me?
Too late for you.
Come on, Robin. Come on. Come on. Do 100. You know you want to.
Nope, I'm not getting into this.
Well, you bet on everything.
Yeah, but I'm not going to bet with him.
He's not betting. He's just telling us what to bet on.
I'm not betting this game.
I
just watch you guys.
You're betting against Dominic.
We're betting against Dominic,
That
Robin.
makes it enticing.
It sure does. Fred, take action.
I'm in for 100.
$100.
I will pretend that he's not here, and I'll bet Dominic 100.
All right. Robin is going through some sort of denial and pretending someone isn't in the room. He's going to pretend Danny's not in the room, but that's 100 from Robin.
That game's at 7:30.
Billy?
What?
You in?
I'll bet if Danny bets.
You want to be in it. Do you want to bet at all?
No.
No?
He can't do it.
Yeah, he's going to pay for a hair.
All right.
Ralph
I'm in.
100? $100. Jackie? No, Jackie's out. Okay.
I'm $1,000 up.
You in, John?
Hey, wait a minute.
John's in?
Yeah, I'll take 100.
Okay, John's taking 100.
Howard, am I taking the same bet as you?
Yeah, I think we're all taking the same bet. Yeah, we're all taking the Pacers.
If you guys are smart, you like bet against.
No.
You smell a loser, huh, Dominic?
You're not betting. That's when you win.
That's when you win. What is it, Gorilla?
Ronnie wants 100 too.
Ronnie wants? Put Ronnie down for 100.
All right, that's
We're going to bankrupt Dominic.
How much? That's more than 400. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 600.
It's a deal.
And Martling over there counting every penny.
Yeah. Put me in.
All right,
I can't beat a homo.
All right.
If Dominic loses, does he dress up naked?
Yeah, that's 100 from Jackie as well. So that's $700 you got to cover.
Dominic in a diaper.
Okay.
Robin,
Oh, I'm in.
Robin's in.
wear a suit, a tie, jacket.
Is he going to deliver the money to us, Dominic?
Absolutely.
All right.
With bagels?
All right, we're in.
What do we have, Howard?
We have the Pacers.
You got it.
All right, thank you.
Explain the point spread thing.
Point spread is that we have it's a 9-point point spread.
You guys are losing 9-0 right
So
now.
we're down 9-0.
Points, yeah.
We got to win by 9.
We got to win by 10.
We got to win by 10.
What they should do is
Unless it's a push.
they should make it
Is it a push if it's a
Yeah,
tie?
if it ties you,
Okay.
it's a push. You don't lose anything. But
Okay.
what you should do is make it like 8.5 or something, so you can't push. Make it interesting.
No.
Listen to you. Shut up.
Yeah, butt out if you're not betting.
You're bankrupt. You're a college student. You're bankrupt. What is it, Gorilla?
Ralph wants 100 too.
All right. I think Dominic will cover it.
Sure.
All right, that's $800.
Danny's breaking out into hives.
Hey, dude, you better come through because next week I want another pick. You have no idea how many people in the audience are now in on this.
Oh man.
You know that he's going to go out. Now there's so much riding on this that he's got to bet on this.
You can't bet on this.
You'll ruin us.
I'm gonna watch
do
it.
that.
All right, you watch it. Now you have some reason to watch it without betting it.
I'm gonna go find. I don't know if it's on like national TV, but I'm gonna go find it somewhere.
I'm sure you will.
Just remember that we'll be really pissed if you lose us.
I know.
That's your
Who's
edge.
that's your edge. That's a worse feeling in your stomach knowing that Robin's going to yell at you. Hey, as a matter of fact, Danny's going to be down in New Orleans at some sports bar probably looking for the game.
He's got nothing to win and everything to lose.
I know.
He'll be in Indiana.
I feel like putting.
All right. Well, there's Danny, our new intern, our new interesting intern. Loser. Excuse me.
If we win, should we all give him like $5 out of our winnings?
No, that'll encourage him.
I'll give him $50, I said.
Why is John so happy?
He loves it. Yeah, that's going to be good. All right, very good. Danny the intern, Danny the gambling intern, will be back next week with his picks. Thank you. And don't gamble anymore.
Right.
Stupid as a wall.
His poor family.
Yeah. The family's sitting there going, oh, Christ, $5,300. Father's probably a postal worker.
This was just the equivalent of taking a bottle of booze and waving it under.
No. He's got his edge now, and he doesn't have to bet money.
Oh, you're saving him.
Yeah. Maybe the kid knows something.
I'd say he's on the phone now.
All right, we'll be back right after these words with the news. All right. Okay. So, Robin, this brings us to news. Now that we've made our bets for the day, all of us got sucked in.
We're all now going to be gamblers, I suppose.
For sure. At least every Wednesday.
The Knicks didn't choke last night. They beat the Indiana Pacers 96-77. Of course, in the paper today, they're all crowing that Reggie Miller was the one who choked last night. He scored only 10 points in the entire game. And they say that he and Spike Lee were at it again. Spike, pulling his usual antics on the sidelines as if he's a member of the team.
Better Spike does this than make movies.
Well, I think he does this and tries to make movies, too. That's the problem.
Want to hear something funny? The Knicks tickets right now are really hot tickets, so... You know that intern, Gambling Dan? Did you hear about this?
No.
Gambling Dan is this kid that interns for us, but he's got a real gambling problem. And, he's been trying to stop gambling, but he was, in I think he was in a 12-step program to knock off gambling.
For a couple of days, but he said they were all losers in there.
Yeah. Hey, Gambling Dan, come on in. So, I've been meaning to get to this, but I keep forgetting.
What did he do now?
Well, so Gambling Dan got a hold of some Knicks tickets. And, was all excited about it. Oh, here you are, man. Come on in. I'm telling you Knicks story. I thought you quit gambling.
I did.
You did?
Yeah,
Until this time.
Until what?
Well, since the Super Bowl.
You haven't gambled since the Super Bowl?
No, not till Sunday.
And this guy got into real problems. I mean, you owed a lot of money and everything, and you took your college money that your parents gave you and spent it all on gambling and junk?
Yeah, I lost like $5,300.
Yeah. I mean, he really has a problem.
He's at a different school because he couldn't afford the school he was in.
Yeah, and his friend got even worse shape. He had to drop out of school because he owed the loan sharks so much money.
Yeah.
Dude, what's your story? So listen to this. So he was running around here saying, hey, has anyone got some Knicks tickets? I'm dying for some good. I can't get my hands on Knicks tickets. Everyone said, well, didn't you have Knicks tickets? He goes, yeah, I bet them, and I lost them.
No, what happened was I've been trying to go out with this girl for like the whole semester.
Right.
And she wouldn't go out with me because she's not interested in sports or anything.
Did you tell her you're Gambling Dan from the Howard Stern show?
Well, she knew I interned here.
Yeah, right.
So...
any girl would be turned on by that.
Help,
I can't believe it.
I had an opportunity to get Knicks tickets.
Right.
But, I had for them, but they were just face value, which are like $75 a ticket.
Yes.
So what happened was I invited her to the game.
Yes.
But I didn't feel, I needed the money also, so I didn't know if I should, I wanted to go out with her, but I still wanted to go to the game also.
Yes.
So I figured if I bet on the Knicks game and I won, I could go to the game for free and still have money enough, to fix my car because my car had broken down.
Like a true gambler.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I bet on the Knicks game.
They always plan if they're going to win.
You bet on the one that they lost.
I bet on the game on Sunday.
Because was it your theory that the Knicks never lose at home?
Well, no, the Knicks never lose. I never figured the team that has the opening game at home,
right?
The series, I figured they'd be very pumped up for the game because I've been to the playoffs for the last 3 years, and every opening game in the playoffs,
So this was pretty much a lock.
Well, it was a lock until Reggie Miller stole the ball and Anthony Mason
freak?
threw it away.
You must have freaked when Reggie Miller stole the ball.
I didn't see what happened. What happened? They were up by 6.
You turned it off.
And I had to go pick up my friend from the airport, so I went to the bathroom and get my, and I was going upstairs to get my.
Dan, read my lips.
Yeah.
Stop gambling already.
You can't say that to him.
I had stopped.
You can't do it, huh?
Well.
So what happened? You lost that bet.
I lost that bet.
How much did you lose there?
$150.
$150. So now you didn't have money for the tickets.
No.
And then you invited the girl, and
I had to tell her that I couldn't go.
You were sick.
Yeah.
Sick of losing. So where'd you get the $150?
I had the $150.
Oh, you did? Yeah.
But now my car is just sitting there and it's not getting fixed.
Oh man, you're never going to give up.
Hey, how bad does it have to get before you are going to quit?
I'm about there right now.
You thinking of going back to the 12-step program?
No, not at all.
That's right.
No, they're not losers.
You said they were losers.
Well, they were losers, but...
All right, now they're winners.
I'm sick of
you heard from them?
Yeah.
Oh, what happened?
I got mail here from them. We're not losers, You shouldn't say that. You're a loser.
All right.
Those are great guys.
Yeah, you can't make fun of them.
No.
Yeah.
But if anybody has Knicks tickets for the Game 5, I'll be happy to take them from you.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So what happened with the girl?
Nothing. Nothing.
Loser in love, loser in Knick game. Well, I got any good tips for us? Anything? We're still owed $100 from Dominic each.
I know. I think Dominic sent it to me in flowers.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, if I would have bet the Knick game last night, I would have won. They killed him. That's what I figured.
Yeah, woulda, coulda.
But you never bet on those games.
No. But
I heard you got a good tip on Chicago.
The game to bet. Well, if Chicago loses tonight, they'll be down 2-0. So they're going when they go home. They never lose at home in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And
so you're saying this is a sure thing?
I think for anybody who wants to make money, they're going to win that game by 20 points.
Really?
They'll win that game by 20 points. And I don't care what if the spread is 12, still take it.
Really?
It won't be that high.
Take the spread?
The spread will probably be about 7 or 8.
So take it with 8 points.
I would even take it up to 10. I'd take it. I mean, I think Chicago at home, the first game that they're at home, if they lose tonight, they're going to kill Orlando because Orlando.
Kid sounds confident.
No. This is he's a fool.
Hey, why? We won the last time we bet with him.
He is a fool.
Didn't we win on Indiana the last time?
The Pacers, yeah.
Yeah, the Pacers.
Yeah.
We bet that game a long time ago.
Yeah. After that game too, Indiana won like 15 games in a row after that.
But let's bet. I'm ready to bet again. We got 100. We have nothing to lose. We never see that 100 from Dominic anyway. We got to bet with Dominic. What, are you waiting for your payoff?
No, I hadn't.
You don't have to take action. I'm taking action.
I'm simply saying that Gambling Dan
is a loser.
Has a real problem.
Yeah, so?
And listen to him. This is how he talks himself into losing money all the time.
Sounds like a lock.
The funny thing is, I've been saving money since I haven't gambled at all. I've had money to do. I've actually done things, and I've had a life. I've gone out and had money to to spend.
Don't need to justify that to me, my friend. I'm ready to bet another 100.
And the moment he jumped back into it, he lost everything.
It's not that I lost everything.
Hey, Dominic, why don't you call in?
Yeah, the one time you call.
Yeah, the one time we need a call, he's not on. I got to take a break anyway. But anyway, that's the big Knicks story. Gambling Dan loses his tickets. and everything else.
Loses his girl, tickets,
yeah,
can't fix his car. What a mess you are.
Yeah, don't gamble.
All right, we'll be... Don't gamble.
Don't gamble. Good boy. Don't do it.
That's like Ralph's mom saying, don't go to a priest for counseling. A little late.